Or,
Recording in progress.
and we're going to get started. It is 8 o'clock. Perfect. You're up.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Tracy Irby, and I'm the director at the Center for Women Entrepreneurs. I'm thrilled to see all of you this morning and so many new people here. For those of you who are here for the first time, the Center for Women Entrepreneurs is part of the Jane Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership here at TWU. The Institute is dedicated to preparing more women to take on successful roles in business and public service. Our 3 specialized centers provide women with the education to establish executive level careers, skills for building entrepreneurial businesses, and the framework needed to run for public office. We do have a gallery down the hall. It's beautiful. If you've never been in, it's about women in politics. It's real, you can go in real quick and take a quick tour. We'd invite you to visit that while you're here. The Center for Women Entrepreneurs was funded by the state legislature in 2015 just to help promote women entrepreneurs anywhere in the state of Texas. And you do not have to be affiliated with Texas Women's University to do that. So we have lots of staff with us I'd like to introduce. So who you just heard is Donalisa Stinyard. She is our associate director. Online, we have Christina Mortel. I know several of you have met with her. She's our small business advisor. Barbara Renke, who you saw, for those of you here out front, is our coordinator. So we appreciate all of them and everything they do to get this event going. So it takes all of us. So what we always do is go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves. For those of you online, please put your name and business in the chat. We do send that out afterwards along with the video. Everybody will get the presentation. So we're going to start in here and introduce ourselves, and you're in the lucky #1 spot. So you don't have to stand either way, whatever you're comfortable, just your name and your business.
Sure. My name is Elsie Burley, so glad to be here this early. It's fresh. My business is Home and Education Integrations, basically fitness nutrition, mental health, and learning. Homeschool for many years, bringing this business.
Great, welcome.
My name is Tamara Baldridge, and I'm wanting to start an online business.
My name is DeAndre Baldridge, and I'm also wanting to start an online business.
My name is Candace Gunderson. My background is holistic nutrition, new to the area. I am also working with a company, a nonprofit that has affordable health care for anybody, individuals, businesses, groups. And I'm also running a 30-day cleanse starting September 4th.
Hi, my name is Jessica. My friend and I started an online business. We do digital arts that are related to cats and we're little cat lovers. And we have a little entity store that's a startup. Besides that, I'm a full-time staff at the PW College of Business. I'm an academic advisor for the graduate program. So if anyone is looking for an MBA program, please talk to me.
Hi, I'm Jen Johnson. I'm an educational psychologist and run the Teacher Care Network. And I'm about to expand into corporate, offering burnout mitigation organization.
I'm Renette McIntosh. I am an event planner. I have my own venue here in Denton, and we specialize in weddings, birthday parties, pop-up shops, networking, and yeah.
It's a beautiful space too. It is.
Hi, my name is Terry Roberts. 2 days ago will be a year. I've been here. I'm from Philadelphia. My brand is water ice.
It's good.
It's a Philly thing, as they say, since they don't know it down here in Texas. They know snow cones and shaved ice, but it's like ice cream without the dairy. So I am going around everywhere to see if everyone is interested. It's vegan friendly, gluten free, all that good stuff. So and good.
My name is Tiffany Munis and I'm a confidence coach for women. So what I do is I help women go from feeling like they need to be more qualified, more prepared, and more of an expert to knowing and unlocking the abilities they already have to know that it's enough to get them what they want.
Okay. Good morning, I'm Fahimi Jackson, and I have a women's clothing boutique in Denton off of North Town, and it's Demir Style. Yeah. Like where you saw me before. Good morning.
My name is Kristen. I'm a physical therapist and owner of Movology Physical Therapy and Wellness, and we do concierge physical therapy here in the pretty much North Dallas area, Denton County.
I'm Hannah McGinty. I'm the owner of Hands Woman Photo. We specialize in telling your story through branding, promo, and testimonial videos, and we just won some awards recently for it. So
Heather Walker, I own Bright Smiles by Heather. My background is dentistry. So I wanted to offer teeth whitening with professionalism, but affordable. And I'm here on the Denton Square.
My name is Linda Bullwinkle. I own Linda Bullwinkle Financial Services. Basically, we do tax preparation and business planning and budgeting for small businesses. And I actually have an office in Pilot Point.
I am Dr. Kella Price. I'm a fitness, nutrition, and life coach and volunteer leader for the American Business Women's Association. And all of you are invited to our next event, August 21st. We have Zoom and in person in Addison. Our August 21st event at 5:30 is on Chat GPT. So if you're not using this as an amazing business tool, you should attend. That's my guess.
I'm Samantha with Heavenly Tailored Sweets. I own the custom bakery here in Denton, Texas, where we do custom cakes, cupcakes, cookies, pies, and rolls. If it goes in the oven, we probably made it. And so I'm just trying to help people have a sweet life. Samantha with Heavenly Tailored Sweets.
Good morning, my name is Faith from ZTF Group, and we do power generation, emergency power services as well. So I feel like this is my first time, and of course, I have a new entrepreneur with me as well. So she'll be taking it soon, taking over soon, but I'm here to let our marketing, I believe, is what's lacking. But on our niche, we don't really need it because we are with the SAM.gov. But being in a Texas hub certified, I want to serve our community first, of course, and expand more a little bit in the future because we're being asked to recruit more women or to get more women involved to this trade, which is power generation, which is all of us will need it. Thank you.
I am Helena Twardowski, and I am, like she said, her secondhand. I usually do the basic engineering on the field, so.
She's only 15.
I'm Kat Jones. I'm a hairstylist. I've had my salon here in Denton for 12 years. I'm now located off the Denton Square inside the filling station. I'm also a realtor, and I design my husband and I investment properties.
That's awesome. Hi, I'm Jessica DeLeon, and I'm working on a website for a time management for single women that I plan to launch later this year.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Cindy. I own CM Promotions. We are a wedding and event planning company throughout DFW. So if anyone has any wedding or event planning needs, I'm your girl.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mystica. I own Optimize Ops, and I help businesses owned by underrepresented groups thrive over survive. And as of right now, I have a business shout out form. So anyone who has a business or is starting a business, you can definitely reach out to me and I'll help you build a table instead of grabbing a seat at one.
All right, we got two on this side. That was hard to follow. Beautifully planned. Oh my God.
I am Madison Beans, owner of the Design Bean, so I do visually creative type of marketing, so and graphic design, web design, branding, photography, and social media content creation. I'm her.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kenyatta Johnson. I'm the owner of Luminous Virtual Solutions. I'm a virtual administrative business consultant. So I assist with general administrative support, marketing support, social media support, things like that. I kind of help you get files and things organized. When you're unorganized, you lose time, and we don't want you to lose either.
Great, thank you. All right, we've got such a great group of women in here today and online. So let's get, our speaker is online today as well. So we have today Mary Robb, founder and CEO of Social Practice. Mary Robb is the founder and CEO of Social Practice, a content marketing agency that utilizes creative storytelling on social media to help businesses grow. Hiring Social Practice is like hiring a full-time social media manager. By assessing your business goals, target audience, and what makes you unique, they strategically develop a campaign focused on reaching your ideal customer. Mary launched the agency in 2019 and has doubled the revenues year over year. Mary finds her purpose in developing and empowering women of all ages all around her. She lives an active lifestyle and enjoys traveling, trying new restaurants, wine tasting, hitting the gym, or spending time with family and friends. Mary, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see. All right, can you guys see my screen? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, I just wanted to start things off by saying thank you all for your time this morning. I know everyone is busy running a business, launching a business, and just the fact that you took the time to be here this morning, network, learn, grow, just means that everyone in this room and on this presentation today is just here for a reason. So I'm so excited to be invited today. Donna Lisa, thank you for inviting me as well. This is, I think, our third or fourth year to do this. So she's kind of watched my company grow and evolve over the years. But today I'm so excited to share with y'all on how you can utilize social media to help grow your business. Before I dive into the presentation, I did just want to give a really brief summary of just the business journey that I've been on the past 4 years, so you guys can kind of get a visual of what's happened and just kind of the experience that I've been through, and just hopefully kind of encourage anyone who's in similar seasons that I've been in. But I started the business in 2019. I piloted it with a few clients, and just to see if it was a viable business model. I don't know if anyone's been there before, but just making sure that what you have is something that you can sell and grow. And it very quickly became a reality. I had to quit my job within 3 months of starting the business. So it was super exciting. And then, everyone knows 2020 COVID happened, and it was definitely a scary time, but continued to grow. Social media proved to be just an essential piece of any business strategy. It's definitely one of the #1 ways to communicate with your customers. It's one of the #1 ways to stay in touch, to remain relevant, to remain competitive. So we're really blessed that we continued to grow through 2020. And now, what my introduction kind of noted was my goal has been to double the revenue year over year for the first 5 years. So we now have 9 full-time employees. We have about 30 independent contractors that we employ. And our goal is to continue doubling through 2025. And then we do have a 10-year vision as well. One thing I'll say about that, just before I dive in, is there's 2 books that we've read that have completely changed the trajectory of our growth. Traction is the first book that I always recommend to entrepreneurs. If you haven't read that, highly, highly recommend. And the second one we're actually going through right now, it's called Come Up for Air. And it's also a book all about scalability. Extremely impactful books. I've read dozens of business books, dozens of leadership books, and those 2 hands down are my favorite from a business perspective. But today we're talking about social media, so go ahead and dive in. I asked Donna Lisa before I put this presentation together, I wanted to hear from the group. What are the things that you guys struggle the most with, or, what are the biggest questions you have when it comes to social media marketing your business? And so I wanted to start just with a couple of topics that came through. So there are 4 key areas that I saw when Donna Lisa sent me the responses that tend to be kind of a struggle. So it's time. So time might be an issue when it comes to building and developing your social media strategy and plan for your business. Because let's face it, we all wear multiple hats. We're juggling multiple responsibilities. And content creation, managing a social media presence, it truly can be a full-time 40-hour-a-week job. So if you're struggling with time, that is completely normal and to be expected, to be fully honest, unless you're an extremely creative person. Some people are, some people aren't. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to build this into your schedule. Lack of knowledge is another big one. Again, it's not, social media is so accessible. So it's easy to think, okay, well, I can just open Instagram, I can just open Facebook, I can just open LinkedIn, and I can share whatever is on my mind at that moment. However, there's so much more to it than just putting a post up. So we're going to talk a little bit about the algorithm, talk about posting, talking about what's needed for your content to really get visibility, and how to really grow. And then another piece that came through was mindset and momentum around social media. So maybe you have a mental block, maybe you're worried about just having a public presence. I mean, you're really going to be putting yourself out there, and maybe not yourself personally, but your business. And I know for me personally, I struggle at times being fully vulnerable about my business because it's my baby. That's my only baby. And so to talk about it and to be honest and open about it and share about it sometimes can be a little bit intimidating. And, I want to protect it the best I can, but we're going to talk a little bit about what you can do to kind of work through anything in the mindset area. And then last but not least, resources. So we're going to talk through some options of, okay, maybe you've decided I don't want to fully manage this on my own. So we'll talk through some different options of what you can do to outsource this, how to look at it from a budget perspective. And then we'll go from there. So to kick things off, I thought it would be fun to just touch base on the trends this year. Social media is constantly changing, and there are constantly new platforms, new algorithm shifts, new trends. So a couple of things that are pretty consistent this year to consider. The number one thing is video. I highly encourage you to get comfortable being on video, creating video, learning about video, seeing what works, what doesn't. It's definitely one of those things that my attitude around it is always just do it, get started. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to be perfect, and just start creating video. 10 to 30-second clips tend to perform the best. So that's what we call short form content. So you want to keep it short, sweet, to the point. There's several different types of video you can put out there, from educational style videos, so really educating your audience on what it is that you do, how you serve them, how you add value. Entertaining video, you can find a lot of that on TikTok. Inspiring video. There's also something that we call viral sounds. So you can look at Instagram Reels or TikTok and see what videos have gone viral, and then you can use that audio and recreate your version of that video. That requires a little bit of creativity, but you can follow different people who are in the same industry as you, people that have a larger following, to get some content inspiration there. The next trend is authenticity. So social media has been around a while now. People are used to it. People are well aware that it's curated content. For a while in the influencer blogging world, editorial style, gorgeous magazine style photo video was definitely a huge hit. It still is a great way to share content, but the content that's getting more views and more engagement is that real day in the life, non-filtered, non-scripted, non-perfect video and photo. So showing up in stories is a big way to really be authentic, because it's kind of day in the life on the fly. But just kind of showing more content that just, again, shows who you are and is authentic. After the pandemic, there's been a lot of research now that's coming out around brands and how it's impacting marketing. So in 2020, as you guys know, we all had access. We really only had one way to shop, which was online. So now, you know, the brands that we were loyal to, we're now thinking about, okay, well, I have all this time and I can't physically go anywhere. So maybe now I want to take some time to do some research, and maybe now I want to look at my options. And so that kind of started this trend where brand loyalty was starting to really just be disrupted. So 75% of consumers started trying new shopping behaviors, with many of them citing convenience and value. 39% of consumers deserted trusted brands for new ones. We also saw a lot of people who were a little bit resistant to online shopping become open to it because they were kind of forced into it, right? So social media was a huge opportunity, continues to be, for you to really share about your business and get more new customers. So brand loyalty is definitely not as relevant, or not as it was definitely something that was disrupted in 2020. And the big thing too here to consider is value add content. So just because someone was loyal to a brand in 2020, if they saw another brand come through with content that was more informative, more engaging, more educational, if it added more value to that individual, then they were willing to listen to that brand and start considering switching their preferences. So just some things to consider. So another question that tends to come through quite a bit when I'm working with entrepreneurs is, which channel do I need to be active on? There are so many options and it can be overwhelming, but I've kind of broken down the top channels right now based on audiences and based on active users. So just because it's a social media app that looks like people are posting to it doesn't mean that they have a very large audience. I get asked quite a bit about Twitter, and oddly enough, Twitter doesn't really have nearly as many active users as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So in most cases, I don't really recommend Twitter for businesses. It really depends on the type of business, but majority of the time it's not relevant. So Facebook, the largest audience is baby boomers, Gen X, and millennials. 27% of people who have Facebook download and open it every single day. Instagram's largest audience is Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z. 39% of people who have Instagram downloaded, open it every single day. This right now, for most of the clients I work with, is the best app, Instagram, for reach, engagement, growing an audience, driving leads, driving revenue. The audience is pretty broad. I'd say 25 to 55 is really the average age of these users. And people are more engaged on Instagram than they are on Facebook. TikTok is definitely Gen Z heavy and millennials as well. So 29% of people who have TikTok downloaded, open it every day. TikTok really created a lot of just exposure to the power of video. So now, as you guys probably have seen, Instagram, Facebook both have very similar video creation tools, and they both optimize and prioritize video content over just static posts because they've seen how it keeps people on apps longer. So video, again, is definitely going to be really important. There was an app earlier this year called Be Real. It took off for about a month. We never found it to be relevant for businesses. And then you guys may have seen Instagram Threads. We personally at our company love it. We're also creative, so that's probably a big part of it. But as female entrepreneurs, depending on how you're branding your business, it's definitely a great opportunity to be a thought leader and to also just help set yourself apart. So Threads is something we're keeping an eye on and learning more about how we could monetize it for businesses. So the first thing I want to share when it comes to having success on social media is the algorithm and how it works and how you can really set yourself apart. So from a big picture perspective, there's going to constantly be small shifts to the algorithm. These social media companies are constantly looking for ways to keep people on these apps longer because that's how they make their money. However, from a big picture perspective, there's going to be three key things that impact the success of your social media presence. So the first is going to be the quality of your content. That boils down to a couple of key things. So what do your videos and photos look like? Are they done professionally? Are they in good lighting? What is the subject matter around the content you're sharing? The big thing that I'm always asking is, how does this post add value to my target client or my target customer? Is this going to get them engaged in my business? Does this build trust and credibility? So really looking at the things that you're sharing and the level of their quality. The second piece is going to be consistency. So how often are you showing up on social media? How often are you putting new content out? How often are you reaching out to people? One way to look at it is, if you look at your top 10 competitors, how often are they sharing? And maybe it's not even a direct competitor locally. Maybe it's a competitor in the sense of some of the top performing businesses in your vertical in the nation. What are their social media presences look like? Majority of the time, their consistency is on point, because they understand that, you know, there potentially could be someone right around the corner who's sharing twice as often, or actually showing up every day, and they're going to get more exposure in the social media feed if they're putting out new content. Like I just mentioned, these social media apps they make more money if they can keep users engaged on the site longer. So if you're a business profile, you're considered a content creator, you're putting out more new content. Now the algorithm's going to see that and see that you're active, and they're going to favor your content in the news feed, especially if it's quality content and you're showing up consistently. And then the last piece is engagement. So this boils down to, how often are you using social media to be social, and how often are you using it to engage with others? So these apps are truly meant to be a place to connect with other people. Sharing new content is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. Really what needs to be happening is building new relationships through direct messages, through comments, through reaching out to new people, finding new people. Really being present. It's really, really cool. I meet new people on social media all the time, mostly on LinkedIn and mostly on Instagram. Donna Lisa and I actually connected through Instagram. And it's so cool how it can connect so many people, but it's important that you're logging in and taking the time each day to use it from a social aspect, because these apps can't see how long that you're on the app and how much you're engaging with other people. If they see that you're active every day, it does help impact the visibility of your content. So when these three things are happening at the same time, you will see better success with your efforts. So we're going to move into social media strategy. One of my favorite quotes is, when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And with social media, it is a creative initiative, and it is something that takes a certain part of our brain, a certain part of our focus. And so the best way to go about it is to have a strategy. So before going into actually building your content plan, I like to look at your business from the big picture. So a couple of questions you can ask yourself, and you can even use these questions to help guide your strategy, is first and foremost, getting a very clear picture on who's your target client and customer. What does that person look like? Really building out a clear avatar. Where do they live? Where do they work? Where do they hang out? What are their hobbies? What season of life are they in? It can be multiple seasons of life. So starting there and really just getting clear on that individual. The next thing you're going to want to look at is what sets you apart and your business apart. So how are you different from others in your area? What is your unique approach? Is there something about, if you're a service-based business, is it something about your approach, the service you provide, the team that you have, and your level of experience, your expertise? Have you really niched into one category into your industry? And really focusing on how do you add value for your clients. So this is where you're going to want to develop something called 3 Uniques. Again, this is in the book Traction. I think it's in chapter 4. They cover just a high level marketing strategy. So if you're someone that doesn't want to read multiple books on marketing strategy, you just want to get to the point, kind of get the bullet points. Chapter 4 in Traction, that's where you'll go for that. But really getting clear on what's unique about your business. And then you'll want to look at what's my proven process and guarantee. So for us, for example, we are a marketing agency. So ours is really about the proven process. Sometimes you can offer a guarantee or on a product or on a service, but really what we're looking at is what can we promise is going to happen and what makes us unique. So what problem are you solving for your client, and how can you promise that you'll find the best solution for them? And another way to look at this is, what is my secret sauce? And then the last thing to consider is, what is my execution plan? So we're getting a vision of just kind of high level target client, what makes us unique, and what's my secret sauce. And then you want to go into, what is my execution plan for running the social media for my business? So who's going to own this aspect of your marketing strategy? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be an assistant, an intern? Am I going to outsource this to a marketing agency? How do you plan to consistently show up? How will you plan to grow? And then what's your ultimate end goal in this strategy? So to kind of dive in a little bit more on target audience and really getting clear there, there's a couple categories you can look at. So of course, first is going to be generation. This is what I also call season of life. You may have some, there might be some overlap here, but baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, and Gen Z. Interests, so thinking through, what are their hobbies, where do your clients and customers shop, what do they buy, and who are they buying for? And then geography, where do they live, where do they work, where do they vacation for an extended amount of time, where do they hang out? So these are kind of the three buckets you're going to want to look at when clearly defining your target audience and your dream client. So once you've kind of done, I kind of consider that almost a high level micro version of your branding. So from there, we're going to look at how you can actually execute on this. So this is what I call a content batching process. This is either something that you could take on as the owner, or again, you could outsource it to an individual or to an agency. So the first step you're going to want to do is define your content pillars. So a content pillar is essentially a content category. So for our agency, for example, we're a social media marketing company. We are B2B, so we're marketing to other businesses. So our content pillars include educational content. So we're constantly educating on social media, what's trending, what's new, how you can use it for your business, how to optimize it. Then we have a culture category where we're really talking about the things that we believe in, what we value. This is a great way to kind of highlight what it's like to work at our company, because we are pretty much always actively hiring, and really just shining a light on who we are as a business and just our personality. Then we have what I call a sales category. So this is where we really hit home on the services that we offer to our clients, what all is included, what the benefits are, how that adds value to their business, how they can sign up for a discovery call. So that's a third content pillar. And then the fourth, we call events. So this is where we pull up our calendar and we look at what's coming up in the pipeline, what workshops, where are we traveling to, where are our photo shoots. Also, it's really fun to look at social media holidays and things that would be relevant with our company and then our audience. So any type of content that is date specific. Birthdays and anniversaries as well. So those are our four main content pillars. So once you define those, then you can sit down and go into what we call a brainstorm session. So you can either do this solo, you can invite your team to join. At our company, I have a couple of different team members get involved each month, but we sit down and we brainstorm ideas on different topics that we want to share. A couple of things you can do during these brainstorm sessions is you can look at different competitors of yours. You can look at what's trending in your industry. One tip that I learned several years ago that I love is you can actually set up a Google alert. So if you Google Alerts, it'll show you how to do it, and you can get an email every day on what's trending in your industry. So for us, one of our target clients is plastic surgeons. So I have Google email me every day alerts on any articles, topics that have been released in the past 24 hours around plastic surgery. And that just helps us, understand what's trending in their industry, what's happening, what kind of content can we start creating that's relevant to these topics. You can also use the news section of Google to see what's trending. And then we also use Instagram quite a bit to find what's trending in Instagram Reels. We use TikTok to see what's trending. And then we'll use Pinterest as well. So brainstorm session is just kind of meant to be a big brain dump. And once you get all of your topic ideas built out, then you will distribute them into the correct content pillar. Once you're done with that, then you'll build out an actual content calendar. So you do want to evenly distribute your content topics throughout the month. You know, you don't want to have 4 sales posts back to back and then 4 educational posts back to back. So you'll want to evenly distribute the content pillars throughout the content calendar. I strongly suggest, especially depending on the amount of support you have, I strongly suggest building this out on a quarterly basis. So once a quarter. We've found that planning in a 3-month time frame, it's still enough time to kind of cover content without having to feel rushed every single time you go to create, but you can still capture, you know, things that are trending within that time frame. So from there, we suggest capturing content once per quarter. So having like 1 day blocked on your calendar where you sit down and you take all of these topics from your content brainstorm session and you shoot. So, you know, if right now it's just you, that's totally fine. Our iPhones are incredible. I definitely suggest shooting in 4K at 60 frames per second for the higher quality footage. But sit down and just create all of it. You know, take some time to do your hair and put your makeup on and pick out the outfits. You know, that's a whole thing in itself. So if you're going to take the time to do all of that and really get camera ready, then let's just get all the content we can in one sitting. You can change outfits and you can switch spots and move around your house, rent a photo studio and set up different scenes. So that way you're not trying to create content on the fly. So once you have that piece completed, you essentially have your content topics planned, you have the photos and videos you need. So now you're gonna need to just sit down and actually write the post. So again, it might be you, it might be someone that you've hired, but we actually write content once per month. So sit down, write your captions in one sitting. You'll wanna add the appropriate hashtags that are relevant to that post and relevant to your audience. I always suggest with any sort of writing process, you know, sitting down, getting everything written out, and then give yourself a day or two and come back to it. That's always the best way to approach writing because you might want to shift a couple of things, the way things are written. That's something that I have to constantly hold myself accountable to, is taking the time to go back and reread and proof and just make sure the thoughts are clear and fully in alignment with what you're trying to say. But then once you've kind of gone through the writing process, the proofing process, then you'll want to go into scheduling. We use a tool called Sprout Social. We just moved to Sprout Social from Buffer and we absolutely love it. It's amazing for small businesses. It's great for agencies. The user interface is easy. It's really great to navigate. They have tons of great support. That was a big thing for me. They actually have people that will answer the phone or that will chat with you that are responsive, and they really are there to help you. So great support team, great customer service. So Sprout Social is what I recommend if you want to schedule your content ahead of time, which I do highly recommend doing. And they also now allow you to schedule stories, which is really awesome. So then the last step to this is scheduling all of your content. Before I move on, I want to make sure, are we doing questions at the end? I think Donalisa, you said that was the plan.
We'll do them at the end, Mary.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to move now into the engagement side of social media. So there was a quote, if you guys don't follow her, Jenna Kutcher is just an exceptional content creator. She has a really cool story around how she started her photography business and now has turned it into this multi-million-dollar content platform. She loves educating and empowering women. 5 years ago, I took her social media course. It was awesome. So one of her big areas of focus with social media is just helping us understand how much of a community building and relationship building tool it can be, which does lead to more sales. So important. So she talks about how social media isn't a sales pitch. It's just an invite for others in your community to join you off the app. So with engagement, uh-oh, my photo broke. There's a concept that's called the 80-20 rule. And just to kind of help explain what that is, essentially putting up a photo or a video and putting out new content the way that I want us to really think about this is that's just 20% of the process. The majority of the purpose behind being on social is to build new relationships and drive more business and more revenue to your company. So the 80-20 rule is that if you build this out, 20% of your time should be spent on creating content and putting new posts out. 80% of your time should be spent on building your audience. I was at a Like to Know It conference a few years ago, and they had several really big influencers speak, and they broke down how much time they spent just communicating with people on the apps. You would think all their time was spent on sharing and putting up new stories and putting up new posts. No, most of their time was spent responding to DMs, responding to comments, reaching out to new people. Of course, once you get higher level, you have assistants and all that stuff to help, but they're spending at least 4 hours a day. Now, most of us, myself included, there's no way that's possible. But just to kind of put it into perspective, when you have a really active and strong and engaging presence, there is going to need to be a lot of time spent on the app engaging with other people. So it's super, super important. So I have a couple tips around that. The ultimate goal is that, once you gain a new follower, do you want them to then turn into a friend of your business, someone who's really a supporter, and then you want that person just to turn into an actual paying customer, right? So the whole idea behind consistency is that having a consistent presence, consistently showing up and being social builds trust with your audience. And then you can think through this, trust obviously sells. So a couple of ways to show up daily. Of course, you want to put up new content, but you also can look at engaging with new people and commenting on their posts. So one thing that we do with our clients and for our business, we have a goal to comment on anywhere from 25 to 50 new profiles per day. And we do that through finding people through local hashtags, people who have tagged themselves at specific locations. We find local influencers and engage with their content. We find people through their followers of followers. So, let's say that you're a clothing boutique in Dallas and you're really wanting to drive more foot traffic to your business. If you were to use locations to find more people, you can find people through check-ins. So I would say, let's see who's checked into Highland Park Village recently, or let's see who's checked into North Park recently, or let's see who's checked into a gym that's close to the boutique, or let's see who's checked into a restaurant that's close to the boutique. That's how you can find people who are active and build new relationships from a location perspective. And then with hashtags, there are so many different ways to find new hashtags, and we're constantly finding new ones that we can use to find our target audience. But if you're a local based business that wants to find other people in the area, finding hashtags that include the city that you're in or the city that you're wanting to reach. So, looking at hashtag Dallas moms, for example, that might help you find women who might be in your target audience, or hashtag Dallas female entrepreneurs. Another great tip, if you want to reach other female entrepreneurs, is look who's engaged with and following the Texas Women's Instagram that we've been tagging this morning. So that's a great place to find other people. Social media just gives us direct access to the people we're trying to reach. We just have to be resourceful and think through how to find them. Another piece of this is also going to be around community building. So reaching out to new people is one aspect, but then also staying engaged with your current community is also super important. So one tactic, the first tactic I have listed here, is responding to every single comment you get. It might sound tedious, but it is so important and it does make a difference. So every comment you get on every single post you want to respond to, we found that the quicker you respond, the more visibility the post gets. So if you share a post, I do highly recommend staying logged on for a little bit after the post has been shared. So that way you can catch comments as they're coming in, or you can have an assistant help with this. So definitely make sure that you're responding to all comments. And even if the comments come in days later, you definitely want to respond back. The second tactic is making sure you're replying to all messages. The sooner you can reply, the better, of course. It's the same idea as the comments. It does help the algorithm if you respond immediately. It's pretty easy to delegate this to a virtual assistant. or to an employee. And something else, there's several tools you can use to help automate some of this. So in the Facebook Business Manager, that's where Instagram and Facebook, you can manage both inboxes there. You can set up automated responses through Facebook Business Manager. You can also set up shortcuts and automated responses in the Instagram app. And then another creator that has great tips and tools for social media is Brock Johnson. It's BROCK Johnson. He has a tool that he sells that creates automated DM responses as well. We're actually in the middle of trialing it. So I can't report back on how well it works, but he's a very well-respected leader in the social media space. So I have no doubts that it's a great tool, but we're piloting it right now on our own social medias. We might roll it out to our other clients, but it's a great tool for automation in the DMs. And then the third tactic is direct messaging all of your new followers. So once a day, going in on Instagram and seeing who all has recently followed you, click on their profile and then send them a message welcoming them to your page and thanking them for following you. What we do is we have a note. I actually have a note in my phone that I just copy and paste every time. And then I put that person's name in to kind of help save time on that actual message. But if you have time and you want to, I also would definitely try and put something customized in there to just kind of welcome them to your page. Maybe mention something specific about something you saw on their profile. Maybe you know them through someone. Something else that is really cool that I've seen other people do that works really well is instead of copying and pasting text in, you can send them a 30-second voice note welcoming them through the DMs. I'm a big fan of voice notes. I juggle a lot of balls and I wear a lot of hats. So voice notes are a lot more efficient for me. So that's always a fun way to welcome people to your page. And that really helps them get more engaged with their content too. A couple of tools, you might want to screenshot this. I need to revise this. So under podcasts, so if you want to learn more about social media, the top 3 that I recommend would be Build Your Tribe with Shailene Johnson and Brock Johnson. They have incredible podcast episodes. Some of them are pretty short, sweet, to the point. And they're on top of the absolute latest information you need for social media. The Gold Digger with Jenna Kutcher, she's another great one. She is really great on strategy, on creative, putting together creative campaigns, brainstorming, storytelling. So she's a great one to listen to if you're wanting some creative inspo. And then the Influencer Podcast with Julie Solomon, it's kind of a combination of both. She teaches influencers how to make money on social media. And even if you're not an influencer, if you're a business owner, you're essentially an influencer because your brand and your business on social media, you're creating content, you're wanting to influence people to invest in your service or product. So lots of great tips from her. She's been in the industry for at least 10 years and her story is incredible too. Awesome female entrepreneur, started from ground zero. So these are the podcasts I'd recommend listening to if you want ongoing education. For post scheduling, definitely Sprout Social is our new recommendation. For graphics, I'm sure many of you know about this. Canva is a great place to start. If you're not a graphic designer, I wouldn't suggest trying to learn the Adobe Suite. It's just going to take a lot of time. So Canvas is a great spot. You can actually buy Canva templates in 2 places. You can buy Canva templates on Etsy. Etsy has some great design templates. And then creativemarket.com also has some great design templates. So those are 2 places I would look. Canva has templates too, but the one complaint I have about that is so many people use those templates that it makes it difficult sometimes for it to look authentic and unique. So we like to buy templates off of Etsy and Creative Market. And then Monday.com is our project management tool. This will help you manage all the tasks involved in building out a social media campaign and strategy. So it's similar to like an Asana, but it's a project management tool. It also will help you manage and oversee anyone that you delegate this to. And then for editing tools, again, if you're not a professional videographer, these are some tools that you can use just from your phone that are easy to learn. Anyone can do it. Splice is a great video editing tool, an app. Lightroom is great for photo editing and for quick, small fixes. It's a lighter version of Photoshop. It's a lot easier to use. You can buy presets. And then Retouch is a really, I love this app because depending on what kind of content you're creating, it can remove objects from photos. So if you've ever taken a photo and someone's photobombing you in the background, or if there's something on the wall or something in the way of your photo, I don't know if you guys saw this video, but I removed this outlet from the picture. I think the app is a couple dollars a month. It's really low cost, and you can remove objects within 10 seconds. So I love Retouch for that purpose. It just helps clean up your photos. You can remove power lines, is a common thing, stop signs if you're outside. So anyways, those are the tools that are kind of good for if you're going to do it yourself. So I have 2 more slides. Are we doing good on time?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, no, I just got a 10-minute alarm. So mindset and momentum, a couple tips I have for this, because this was something that came through. You know, showing up on social media, it is definitely a vulnerable thing. And I don't think that's talked about enough. And it's totally normal if it is very intimidating to you. And, you know, getting used to being on camera, getting used to showing up consistently, it's a lot for some people, especially if you're more of an introvert. So I have a couple tips for this that's really helped me over time. Create an execution plan is first and foremost. So before we even throw ourselves out there, let's get a plan in place on how exactly we're going to do this. So the things that we just talked about, have kind of your step-by-step lined up, have a plan for shooting content, have an outfit, you know, have a wardrobe picked out, have a strategy for when you're going to shoot content. So you can start mentally preparing yourself for any time that you're going to be creating. Tools like Monday help build out tasks, like I mentioned. We're also just now implementing a tool called Notion. This tool's been blowing up. If you haven't seen it or heard about it, we're geeking out over it right now. We're definitely going to be building it out into our business, but Notion's like a combination of 3 different tools in one. So that really will help you build a strategy. And then from there, something that I also suggest, which all of y'all obviously probably understand this since you're here today, is having a community of women who are in the same boat as you or in the same position. You know, talk to the women in this group about your fears around social media. It will help so much to hear what other people are going through and to learn, okay, well, what did you do to just get over this and just get on social media and just do it, right? It's so empowering whenever you hear other women talk about their struggles. And at the end of the day, iron sharpens iron. You know, we all can hold each other accountable. We're not alone in this. We all have the same goals, desires, and dreams. And so really, you know, taking initiative and being proactive about building those relationships. Ask the women in this group to go to coffee, ask to go to lunch, ask to do a 30-minute Zoom connect. I can't tell you, you know, how many people in my circle that I just couldn't do what I do without them. And we truly just show up for each other and support each other. And then the last thing I'll mention on this piece is hire a coach. I hired a coach before I even started my business. I had a lot of imposter syndrome to overcome. I was young when I started, and I still have a lot to learn. And the deeper I get into this, the more I realize, you know, how much I don't know. But having a coach is so helpful because they'll help you work through some of those bigger mental blocks. So I have 2 linked here. If you guys want any other recommendations, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to help. But Ashton Cantu, Nicole Faith, we also have an operational coach that works with us in my team. Her name is Michelle Dahl. Absolutely love her, but I'm always happy to recommend different people if you want some different options to look at for coaching. And then last but not least, when it comes to marketing for your business, this is typically where I start in my consultations, is budget. So from a high level perspective, we want to look at what are your annual revenue goals, okay? And then from the type of business that you run, what percentage of your annual revenue goals, of your annual revenue, needs to be allocated to marketing? Most of the clients we work with, that number is conservatively around 3 to 5%. So if you're wanting to do $1 million in revenue, 3% of that would be $30,000 a year in marketing, divided by 12, that's going to be somewhere around $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So you want to first have an idea of the numbers, because it's going to be really hard to make decisions, to hire, to delegate, until you have a clear understanding of where you're at as a business. And depending on the size you're at, depending on the season, that number is going to continue to change, which means who you're going to hire is going to change. When we first started, we had a lot of interns and freelancers. So for social media related tasks, if you're just getting started and you do want to start delegating, hire an intern or hire a freelancer. You can use tools like LinkedIn, Upwork, Fiverr. My personal favorite is to hire individuals. So I would use Indeed and LinkedIn and social media to post job descriptions and have people apply. If you don't want to go through hiring and recruiting, you can always use companies like Fiverr and Upwork. They do that for you. And then once you get a little bit bigger, you might want to hire an employee, either part-time or full-time, to manage it for you. This person can be in-house and work directly with you, and they can really kind of quarterback a lot of it. Once you get to a certain size where you're like, I need to be fully hands-off, I want to fully delegate, I don't want to manage, I don't want to oversee, I don't want to direct, I just want someone to take it and run with it, then that's whenever you'll want to look at potentially hiring an agency. So, well, we might have run out of time for this, Annalisa. I did put some stuff in here about artificial intelligence because I know that that was a question.
Where your slide deck at the end, Mary, I'll just send it out with them and then they'll have it.
Yeah. Yes, I will email this to you, and anyone can look at it, but there is a couple slides on AI and how you can use it to support you and your development. This will also help you save time. AI is really, really, I mean, it's phenomenal how much time it can save you. So to wrap this up, do you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, so if you want, so we've got, would be one online question. So somebody asked, how much difference is your social media focus, like different sites and content, when you're a business to business versus business to consumer?
Great question. So if you're B2B, what I'd look at is who's your target client and where can you find them? We're social practice, we're B2B. We get so much interest through Instagram and LinkedIn. So it just depends on your target audience, but those are great for B2B. For B2C, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, is some of the larger audiences will be great for B2C.
Awesome. Okay. Candace, did you have a question?
Yes. I wanted to know, it's a two-part. If one is, if there's any suggestions or resources for guidance on clothing, for instance, to wear, and then also if it's important to include any kind of live videos in between your campaign.
Okay, sorry, Annalisa, was it clothing preferences?
Yeah, if there was any sites that had recommendations on clothing, and then what are your thoughts about including live videos?
Okay, so for clothing, I love the Like to Know It app because they have all the influencers who have the latest trends and just fashion inspo. I also love Pinterest. You can search for professional, clothing inspo. Right now, I personally love Zara for professional clothing as well. And then for lives, so lives are tricky. Majority of the time when I see them executed, I don't see a ton of engagement, but they just have to be executed well. If you have the time to do it, I would definitely pick a time of day that your target audience would likely be online, and you can see that in your insights. You can see when your audience is most active. If it's strategically done, if you communicate enough about it beforehand, I think it can be successful. But it also just being considerate of the content you're going to be sharing during that live, how engaging it's going to be, what kind of questions you're going to be asking. So yeah.
Okay, great. So this is going back to planning your content. So how do you balance preparing in advance along with staying up with the trends and meeting more immediate needs?
That's a great question. So we try to go by the rule of thumb. We want to plan about 80% of what we're wanting to share ahead of time. And then we have someone on our team who weekly checks in on the trends on social, the trends in the industries that we serve, and we'll put out new content if it's relevant. Typically, if it's super trendy, we'll just do something on stories. If we just it depends on the topic, it depends on the industry. But we kind of decide, do we need this to be an actual post that lives on our feed forever? Or does it need to be just a story? And then also, put, something that I used to do, I actually have someone do this now, is have, a time block in my day, 30 minutes once a day, to show up and share some stories and behind the scenes so that I don't forget that I need to be putting new content out and just being active and consistent.
Awesome. Okay, we'll take one more question in here. Anybody? Yes.
Hi, Mary. At what point would you recommend taking your personal Facebook profile and turning it into a business profile because you already have the followers versus creating a new business page?
I would, if you already have an active engagement and you already have a big following, Facebook now has the option to verify yourself. Right, with the way things have gone, I would keep it on your personal page. There are benefits of having the business tools on Facebook, and you can slowly make that transition. It also depends on the type of business you have, but if you have that following, I would keep the content posting on your personal page, and then you could always also tag your business page in all of your posts and slowly try and push your followers to the business page. But on Facebook, honestly, I found that the personal profiles get more visibility than the business pages, and I haven't seen Facebook fully successfully make a shift there. They've done a lot of things to try and make a shift, but I still haven't seen it for myself.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mary. We appreciate your time. And just really quick, she did not say it in her introduction, but let's give Mary a hand. They just went 4 years. She just celebrated 4 years in business. And I know for all of us that are small business owners, 4 years, that's a long time. That's, that's showing up.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
So a few announcements before we turn it back over. Going back to Mary's slide about your income and how to outsource and knowing your numbers. The best way to know your numbers is working with, doing some business finances. And so August 19th, we have Elle from the Girlfriends Budget who will be here for our Saturday workshop. And she's going to be talking about, oh my gosh, Budget Like a Boss. It's about mastering your business finances. Sorry, that escaped me in that moment. And there's still opportunity to register for that. That's August 19th. It's Saturday from 8:30 to 12. It is in person and virtual. And then our next Women Rise, we actually have Michelle Kelly, who is the Director of Health and Wellbeing Initiative here at TWU. And she's going to be talking about when a bubble bath doesn't cut it. We've had a lot of people ask for a full, health and wellness of women entrepreneurs. And so she will be talking about that. So those are our next two events. And what I'm going to do now is leave here, I hope, and I will be on the other side to put everybody in that breakout room that wants to hang out and do some virtual networking. Let me make sure I'm.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Mary.
Anybody miss that?